Back here with another television series review, and this time we're taking a look at the Camden family from the fictional town of Glen Oak, California. That's right, we're talking about Seventh Heaven. The show starred Stephen Collins as the main character, Eric Camden. He was a Protestant minister, I believe. And then you have Catherine Hicks as Annie Camden, Barry Watson as Matt Camden, David Gallagher as Simon Camden, Jessica Biel as Mary Camden, Beverly Mitchell as Lucy Camden, Mackenzie Roseman as Ruthie Camden, Happy the dog as herself, and so on and so forth. It basically goes throughout the series explaining the trials and tribulations of life within the Camden family. It was created by Brenda Hampton, and it premiered on August 26, 1996, and lasted all the way to May 13th of 2007. A lot of people have come and gone throughout Seventh Heaven. I really enjoyed the show. I remember it coming out back in 1996, and that just goes to show you that I'm very old. I'm 34 to be specific, but yeah, I was around back then. I remember Seventh Heaven. It lasted a long time, and I remember it coming out, and I remember a young David Gallagher playing Simon Camden. I remember the relationship that he had with his sister Ruthie Camden. They were very close, and he would like to scare her and torture her. He would tell her, there are snakes in the toilet and they are going to bite you. He loved to torture his sister for some reason, and I thought that was kind of disturbing, but that's the way brothers are. I really enjoyed the relationship between Matt Camden and his girlfriend, Heather. I don't have exactly who plays her. I gotta look her up. Hold on, give me 1 second. I can't seem to find her name. I don't know who plays Heather on Seventh Heaven. So if you guys know, put it in the comment section. But I really like the relationship between Matt and Heather. I think he met her in the first season, and she basically stayed for a while. I remember her being there at least until 2001, because she came to break up a wedding. No, wait, I think he tried to break up her wedding. That's what it was. And then after breaking up her wedding, he didn't marry her anyway. He ended up marrying somebody named Sarah Glass, and she was played by Sarah Danielle Madison. And she joined the series in 2001 and stayed until 2006. Now, Barry Watson left the show in 2001, I believe. I tried to Google a reason why he left the show, and they said it was because he allegedly had cancer. I could not verify this. That's why I'm saying it was alleged, because I don't know if he actually had cancer. I can't verify that. I hope it's not true. But anyway, I liked the first 5 seasons of Seventh Heaven. But by 2001, which is the same time that he left, I noticed that they started writing out a lot of the main characters. And that really turned me off. I didn't like that. One example of this is when Jessica Biel, who played the oldest sister, Mary Camden, she left the show in 2000. And this is allegedly because she was not happy with the direction of her character, the position that her character had been put in, in the show. I liked Mary. She seemed to be a very grounded character. She knew who she was. I mean, yeah, she dated a lot of guys, but she knew who she was. But for some reason in 1999, and by the way, the show is based in real time, so I like that. And then 1999, she decides for some unknown and ungodly reason to vandalize a gymnasium. And I'm saying, what the heck is going on? You know, why is she doing this? She seemed to be so grounded, and she seemed to be a solid person. She was raised right, and then she just goes off, off the deep end and starts vandalizing a gym. I don't get it. And she was stealing from restaurants, and so I can understand Jessica Biel wanting to leave, because this just didn't make any sense to me as a fan. She just went off to the left, I don't quite get that one. One of the things that Seventh Heaven introduced very early in the series, and when I say early, I mean early, they introduced racism. What happened was there was a black family on the show called the Hamptons, I think, and the father of that black family was played by Dorian Horwood. Not Hampton, but Hamilton. That's what it was. Chandler had the last name Hampton, so that's my mistake. It was the Hamiltons. It was his son John, played by Chaz Lamar Shepard, and he joined the series in '96 and left in 2001. So he was missed. I was sad that he left. As I said, they introduced racism right away, and you had the scene where somebody burnt down their church. So that was kind of weird. But it is what it is, and racism was a recurring thing throughout Seventh Heaven. And there was a character by the name of Kevin Kirk, and he was played by George Stoltz. He came in during the middle of season 6, or I should say towards the end of season 6, during a 9/11 emergency precaution when Lucy was detained at the airport. And this Kevin Kirk guy, I'll tell you, I didn't like this guy. He was a jabroni, as The Rock would say. I did not like Kevin Kirk. Nothing against the real person, George Stoltz, but the character Kevin, I couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand Kevin. Kevin annoyed me. He was just weird. I'll go into that a little bit later, but he was a police officer who ended up marrying Lucy Camden, and she became Lucy Camden Kirk. What a weird name. But anyway, she was my favorite Camden, played by the great and talented Beverly Mitchell. Beverly, if you're out there, shout out to you. You were great as Lucy Camden. You were my favorite indeed. You were the best on the show. Now, do you guys remember how I told you that Mary Camden, played by Jessica Biel, she just became rebellious for no reason? Well, anyway, she started dating this guy named Robbie, and he was played by Adam Lavorgna, I guess that's how you pronounce it. And in February of 2000, this guy tries to take her to a hotel, for Valentine's Day 2000, and he tries to sleep with her. So that was really strange, and she ended up punching him in the face. You would think that the Camden family would be furious, that they would be irate, that they would be livid. But you know what they did? They said, hey, why don't you come and move in with us? I mean, yeah, we know you're homeless and, you tried to sleep with our daughter, but hey, why don't you come on in? You remember how I told you about George Stoltz, aka Kevin Kirk? Well, he said something a little bit later in the series, and I loved what Kevin said. I believe it was from season 11, episode 2. He said, he asked Eric, he says, "What is this, the religious Twilight Zone?" That was hilarious because that's what I was thinking. It's like if the Twilight Zone had a religious version of it, this would be it. You know? And then there were the twins Sam and David, Nicholas Brino and Lorenzo Brino, and tragically Lorenzo passed away on March 9th of 2020. Rest in peace to him. And there was a character, Sarah, played by Sarah Danielle Madison. She came onto the show in 2001. She passed away in 2014, so rest in peace to her. This review will be dedicated to Lorenzo Brino and Sarah Danielle Madison. Rest in peace to both of them. And of course, there was one more person that passed away, and I believe his name is Graham Jarvis. That's who it was, and he played Charles Jackson, the father of Annie Jackson, aka Annie Camden, played by Catherine Hicks. But anyway, Graham Jarvis, who played Charles Jackson, passed away on April 16, 2003. So rest in peace to him also. I really enjoyed Seventh Heaven. One of the episodes I liked, they had a Halloween episode where Eric Camden hated Halloween. I forgot why. There are 11 seasons of the show, and you guys can't expect me to remember everything. But I think it had something to do with him being bullied on Halloween or something like that. You guys will have to put that in the comment section. But anyway, on the episode, they actually went to this haunted house or something. Simon was, I think he was riding a bike with one of his friends, and it reminded me of something that John Carpenter said. He said in every neighborhood there's a story about a haunted house or somebody going crazy in a house. So that's definitely true. And Seventh Heaven in Glen Oak, California was no exception. So I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the storyline where Simon, I think he was eating fried chicken for lunch or something like that, and he brought a knife to school. It was a butter knife, and he got in trouble for that. So that was very interesting. I told you guys I did watch a little bit of it when it came out, and then I stopped watching it, and then I started watching it again in 1998. Then I stopped again in 1999. And I recently watched the whole thing on Hulu. And I think I started doing that back in April. And this is December, so I'm finally finished with it. I truly enjoyed the show. Beverly Mitchell was my favorite. I liked Lucy because Lucy seemed like a bit of an outsider, and I could relate to that. So that's why I identified with Lucy. Beverly, again, if you're out there, I'm one of your biggest fans. I love Seventh Heaven. My mom would tease me every night, not in a malicious way, just playful teasing between mother and son. She would always come out of her room and come into my room, and she would go, "Seventh Heaven," because she would hear me listening to the theme song. I love the theme song, and I just really enjoyed the show. I don't know how else to put it. Now, you remember when I told you that I didn't like Kevin Kirk, aka George Stoltz, I believe his name is? Well, here's why I don't like Kevin. I just think he's overbearing, and let me tell you why. You see, Kevin just insisted on inserting himself into the Camden family, even to the point where he insisted on referring to Eric and Annie as mom and dad, even though they weren't his biological mother and father. Now, I understand that he was trying to be respectful. I get that, but the fact that he insisted on doing it just made him seem overbearing and strange. I just didn't like Kevin. I don't like him. I don't know what it is. I don't like Kevin Kirk. The guy's weird. I want to thank you guys for listening to my review of Seventh Heaven. I'm getting ready to wrap it up soon. I want to point out a few more things. Remember when I told you that they started writing people out by 2001? They started getting rid of the Camden family to cut costs by 2005, and they even got rid of David Gallagher, although they really didn't. He only left the show because he was starting college in real life, and he left in 2006 because 2006 was supposed to be the 10th and final season. But because the ratings were so good, they opted to do another season, and I guess he wasn't asked to come back. So, I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles. There was Shawna Sullivan. She was played by Maureen Flanagan. I thought that she had actually joined the cast. She came in 1998 and left in 2002. And I think the way they had that set up was, if you would be in a particular episode, they would feature your name during the intro. So I wasn't aware of the fact that they would only feature your name if you were in that particular episode. I thought she joined the cast along with that guy Chaz Lamar Shepard, but she did not. She was only there temporarily along with him, because Chaz left in 2001 and she left a year later, so she left right after him. Simon Camden, played by David Gallagher, he had so many girlfriends. Cecilia Smith, she was played by, what's her name, Ashley Simpson, from 2002 to 2004. She was very clingy, because even after he left her, she would still come over to the house and help out with the kids. I'm like, what's going on here? My favorite of Simon's girlfriends was Rose, and she was played by Sarah Thompson. At first, I didn't like Rose. She came in during season 9, I believe, and she left at the end of season 10. She was going to marry Simon. I like Rose because Rose knew what she wanted, and she went after it. I mean, that's just the way she was. I liked her more than I liked Cecilia for some reason. One of the last things I want to talk about is they had the characters of Margaret and Jane. Margaret was played by Andrea Morris, and Jane was played by Sarah Wright. T-Bone was played by Colton James. His real name was Theodore. He ended up going out with Ruthie during season 11. I mentioned Kevin Kirk saying, "What is this, the religious Twilight Zone?" And that's because there was a scene where Sam and David's teacher started flirting with their father Eric, Lucy ended up talking to T-Bone about her marital situation, so it did look like a religious Twilight Zone. And guys, I'm gonna pretty much wrap it up here. Thank you for listening to my review of Seventh Heaven, and it ran from August 26, 1996 to May 13th of 2007. I really enjoyed it. Rest in peace to those that I mentioned earlier. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Darnell Weeks, aka the Myers fan, and I approve this message. You know, believe it or not, I always wanted to meet somebody from Seventh Heaven. Coincidentally, Lindsay Hawn from John Carpenter's Village of the Damned, she was actually in one of the episodes of Seventh Heaven. I think it was season 10. It might have been season 9. But either way, she was in Seventh Heaven. So I actually met Lindsay Hawn. And I interviewed her. And you guys can watch that interview right here on this channel. So I can actually say that I met somebody from Seventh Heaven. I just thought you would enjoy that little nugget of information. Thanks for watching, guys.